Last week, I hit that midpoint in the animal sculpting class that I'm teaching, and I started noticing a few of the students getting really frustrated with the project not going their way. And in a way, that frustration was really reflecting back on me because I have in the past gotten frustrated many times for many reasons. And I don't think my students are alone, and I don't think I am alone. I genuinely think that most artists at some point through their journey of making art gets frustrated with their art, and sometimes that frustration can last a little bit longer. So I really wanted to make today about sharing some ways of thinking and doing that really helps me handle my frustration and sort of move through it and past it at times. For me, this frustration often stems from this feeling that there is something I really want to say and I really want to express, and what is coming out into the physical world through my hands is not that. And for sure, I think the perfectionism and self-esteem issues and all those things can play into this, but I really want to focus on in this video things that helps me more in my short-term thinking when I am really stuck in this pit of frustration. And most of the things I'm going to talk about here actually has to do a lot with shifting the focus away from yourself. So let me try to explain. Instead of thinking that you have to believe in yourself to figure this out, I think it's better to shift that focus from you as a whole person to your specific ability to learn, because there is so much proof of your ability to learn. I mean, you're right here. You have learned a language, definitely, since you're listening to this. You can talk. You learned how to walk. You learned how to make little marks on a paper. There are so many things that you have learned just to be here and to survive and to thrive and all those things. So even if you feel like you are far away, you will get there. Like, I genuinely know that you will, because you will learn how to communicate what it is inside you that you need to communicate with your art. Granted, that might take some time, but the only way that you won't get there, or at least the only way you won't get there for sure, is by stopping to try or quit trying. Don't do that. I know you got it. Okay, you got it. The second little short-term mental shift that you can make here, and that I feel work for myself, is to stop valuing your art as anything that has to do with worth, with your worth, or the art has worth. It's neither good or bad. It's this neutral moral entity that exists in the world because you created it. Now, if you can learn the feeling of that weight of worth and judgment of your piece, I think it's easier to start to think about it as genuinely a part of the process. It's the same thing as when you travel. One sculpture might be the same as you jumping off the train at this place, and maybe you thought you were going to love this place, but for whatever reason, you ended up not liking it at all. And that might seem like a bummer vacation, but it also taught you not to go back to that place, or that is not the place where your home is at. Likewise, if you enjoy something about the place you went to, you're likely to collect those memories and bring souvenirs to have home at your fridge when you come back home and to remind you of that place. So really just keep the journey going. I think this is so important. The second tip I want to give is probably more important than the first one, and it has less to do with thinking and a lot more to do with people. Think about it. Ironically, think about it. You cannot think yourself out of every situation, right? Like, there are some situations where you just can't think your way out. It can be because you are trapped in a physical cell, or it can be because you are trapped in a cell that you have created in your mind. But the same way people or a prison guard can let you out of that physical cell, so can people let you out of your own mind. Being around people, good people, really is the best way to pull yourself out of yourself, in my opinion. I don't think art was ever meant to or can even exist in a vacuum. But by letting people into your process, by sharing tips, exchanging ideas, it becomes this sort of evolving work that isn't so centered on you. And I think that is makes it so much easier to enjoy the process. Now, I very much understand that community is not something you can take for granted, especially in the societies we live in. Not everyone have access to a strong community, and I have definitely been through long times, especially when I was living in the US, where I was feeling really isolated and without a community for long times. And not everyone has, unfortunately, access to a safe community space. So I get that. But if you do, if you are privileged enough to go to a class, to be part of a studio, or have crafty friends that you can have craft parties with, do it. And I think there is nothing better to get you out of that frustrating funk. And also, if you don't have a physical community, do know that you are so invited to my little corner of the internet. This is a very safe space to share ideas and thoughts, and feel free to do that in the comments. And that was all for me this time. Thank you so much.